Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel QA Learning Hub where we learn all the latest industrial practices. I am up with another exciting video from the same series of videos in which we talk to different experts quality and food safety who are working abroad. The most frequent and important and asked question by different FTs in different forums about the career opportunities and other repeated question is what to do if someone wants to pursue his or her studies after bachelor's and graduation in food science and technology, either to go for MBA, Mphil or PhD. I thought to contact the right person to answer these queries. And after continuous follow ups, finally, I am able to catch him up online today. And no one can answer these queries better than Ammar Qureshi. Ammar Qureshi is currently working with Unilever, Shanghai, China, handling global regulatory affairs. He is MSc Food Science and Technology, certified quality professional, and certified Green Belt Six Sigma. He has also completed MBA in marketing and finance. He has almost the experience of 12 years working in different firms like Shan Foods, Young's Food. He was also visiting faculty lecturer in University of Karachi and Jinnah University. So it's my immense pleasure to have him online for this short Q&A session. And thank you so much, Ammar, for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be a part of the whole thing.
As you yourself been pursuing your career in a very unique field, that is regulatory affairs. It's not that unique actually, but people are normally aware of just few scopes for FTs, that is to work in production, quality control, quality assurance, R&D. So please elaborate. What are the job roles for regulatory affair person in any industry?
What does a regulatory affairs person do? Well, I think this field is somewhat emerging in Pakistan if you look at food industry, but if you talk about pharmaceutical sector, this has always been there. So I think the food authorities in Pakistan are becoming more and more active. So that's the reason why this field is gaining somewhat more popularity these days, and every organization wants someone to handle regulatory work. Um, if I have to explain the job of this person, I would say that there are two major responsibilities. The first one is compliance, and it means that this person is responsible to make sure that his organization is aware of all the applicable regulatory and legal requirements for whatever line of business they are dealing with. The next responsibility, which I believe is very important and very unique as well, is advocacy. It's about shaping the regulatory environment by working with external agencies or standardization authorities. Why I mentioned that this is unique and important, because if you look at the traditional or the conventional jobs that a food technologists do, like R&D and quality assurance and production and operations, they're mostly internal facing, and there is a very limited scope of interacting with external stakeholders. But this one, but if you talk about regulatory affairs, they have both internal and external facing jobs. Like compliance is very intrinsic, but advocacy is something that is linked to the external stakeholders, and that's what makes it very interesting. Because if this person is able to do even a small change, it will give it can lead to a very huge impact for the organization he's working, and not just the organization he's working in, but even outside as well. So I must say that, like, not just for the company, but for the industry and even for the country as well, because he has presence in such avenues where he can influence, or uh, he can he can table a lot of things to change the regulatory structure, which ultimately will impact the industry.
Well, now please shed some light. on different career options for a food technologist?
I think we should understand the different functions a food technologist can take up as a career option. I remember when I graduated, I only knew about R&D or QA or QC or different jobs within the lab. But I think the function or the field is very huge. It's it has evolved into so many different sub functions that it's virtually limitless. So besides these functions that we commonly know, a food technologist can also work within the production department. There are many different functions within that. You can also be a part of operations management or supply chain or quality assurance. There are many sub functions within quality, so can very well be placed in them. Uh, a food technologist can work as a nutritionist. We all know within the technical domain, he can be a part of compliance team or regulatory affairs, as I said earlier. So uh, there's just there are so many possibilities, and even going beyond these technical domain that are very commonly known to us. I think a food technologist can very well work within marketing or sales as well. Uh, I know a few marketeers who are food technologists and they're just amazing. They are excelling at it. So, and actually a perfect blend when you know about when you know the science and when you know the consumer. So it's just the perfect blend, I believe. So within the food industry, a food technologist can work just in so many fields. And if we talk outside of industry, I think a food technologist can be an entrepreneur. He can start his own business with the recent advancements within digital. I think the possibilities are infinite, and a lot can be done. So it's not just usual science or lab or R&D. It's just way beyond.
Well, what do you think? If someone wants to continue their studies, MBA or Mphil, what is the best option?
I think that's a very apt question, Sharia, because it's something that we all face, especially when we graduate or when we spend 1 or 2 years in the industry or wherever we are working. This is a question that we ask ourselves whether we should go for higher studies like Mphil or PhD, or whether a lead auditor course is suitable for me, or maybe an MBA, or maybe just do nothing and keep on working. So I think all of these are good decisions. But what's the best approach? I think that's a tough one. But before going there, I would just like to point out very briefly here that something that we are not trained to do, but it's very very important for our life, and that is self-evaluation and self-reflection. It's about trying to understand the purpose of our life, why we exist, and what kind of impact can we make with our life through the skills we have and knowledge we have. To have some goal or some kind of ambition, it's really important to have this this thinking process in place, because it can give us the direction for a long term happy or successful life. What happens mostly is that we pass out and we follow the bandwagon. We just get the when we get a job, we just join and we just become a part of corporate machinery maybe. But there is a lot more that we can do with our life and with our skills. So there's one more thing that that is very common, and that's we take examples from others. Like if I think someone is successful and he went through a certain pathway, like if he did an MBA from a certain university, maybe if I would also do the same thing, I would also be successful like him. It doesn't work that way. I've seen a lot of people who have done who have taken education from very prestigious institutions, but they are still at the same position where they actually started off. And I've seen a lot of people who have done just nothing after their graduation, and they are extremely successful. So what's important is that we should understand why we should do what we are intending to do. I remember when I applied for MBA, there was a mandatory section. It was a 300 word essay that we had to write about why we are doing MBA, and it really helped me understand why I was going for it.
Thank you, Ammar. I know these questions require more discussion, more time, and as per my request, you just covered it up in short time. But I hope it's very, very effective and fruitful for the young FTs.
Sure, yeah, for the opportunity. I hope this was useful, and I hope we can collaborate more in future. Assalamu alaikum.
Viewers, if you still have any query related to this topic, please write it in the comment box. We will be happy to answer all your queries. Thank you so much for watching this video.